What's up guys, Miles here with 9to5Mac, and today we're going to be going over the top features of iPadOS 14. So I've got my iPad Pro here, let's dive in, shall we? But first, a word from our sponsor. Thanks to Vectornator for sponsoring 9to5Mac on YouTube. Vectornator is an all-in-one illustration, UI design, and publications app that's available for iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Vectornator comes with a set of advanced and helpful features, some of them being the ability to use multiple artboards within a single document. You can auto-trace images and vectorize them in just a few steps, and then you've got very advanced tools to tweak your vectors. You've got support for blend modes, you can do AR previews for photos or illustrations, and a bunch of typography tools. There are some really awesome features on the way with Vectornator X4, which includes enhanced brush support, video time-lapse support, Unsplash integration, and the ability to import illustrations from Sketch. And thanks to a unified codebase, you're getting all the updates on all platforms, iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So click the link in the description to download Vectornator today. So here we are on the home screen of my iPad Pro running official iPadOS 14. And firstly, let's dive in and talk about widgets, because this is easily the biggest feature of iOS 14 in general, but here it is on the iPad Pro in its official form. So this is widgets in its final form on iPadOS 14, and Apple's goal here, generally speaking, was to design widgets to not only look good, but to offer functionality as well. So as you can see here, I've got all the preset widgets laid out, and I think the overall design is very fitting for iOS 14. The weather widget is probably the widget I check on the most, just because, I'm always wondering what it's like outside, but the battery widget is also really useful for being able to check the power levels of all your devices and accessories with a quick glance. But I'd say the best part overall, as far as iOS widgets design, is how the chosen shapes and sizes really come together quite nicely here on the UI. Another cool feature in iOS 14 is being able to have different widget sizes. So if you see here, I clicked on music, I have my small widget, my medium-sized widget, and then my large widget right here. Let's add the small one just to see what that looks like. So we've got two music widgets right there. I'm gonna go back. That would be a medium. And then that would be a large. So you can see here the size, generally speaking, how much space a small takes up versus a medium versus a large, but it's cool that Apple gives you that option per app. So in iOS 14, Apple has added widgets for every single Apple-made application, all the essentials, including weather, your clock, your map. So here we've got the weather widget here, our small, our medium, our large. Here's the tips widget, Siri suggestions, shortcuts, screen time, reminders, photos, notes, which also comes in 4 different sizes, or 4 different versions here. Our news widget, which also comes in multiple different versions. We've got a portrait orientation, a more squared off version, a more slim banner type, a small square, and then a larger square. Lots of different options here for the news widget. Music, once again, maps, files, clock, batteries, and then our Smart Stack widgets. And this menu here is actually called the App Gallery. It's just your central hub for your widgets made from Apple and third parties. And this part at the top here is just showing you the top widgets based on what users installed the most. One of the more prominent features in iOS 14 as far as widgets go is Smart Stacks. So if you're unaware of what Smart Stacks are, it essentially allows you to have multiple applications within one widget space. So if I hit Add Widget here and hit Done, as you can see here, I can scroll through multiple applications, and if I hold down on it and hit Edit Stack, I can remove certain applications. So if I want to get rid of maps, gone. Music, gone. So we've just got weather, news, photos, and Siri suggestions. And I can swipe through them like so. And speaking of Siri suggestions, it's a pretty nice widget because it gives you app suggestions or shortcut suggestions based on your usage. Now, this current assortment of applications isn't exactly accurate, but I haven't been using this specific iPad model for very long, so it makes sense that this isn't exactly 100%. But overall, it's a pretty convenient way to access the applications that you may be using the most. If I just want to send a message, boom, just hit the application, start a timer, boom, hit the clock app. App design in iPadOS 14 overall has been updated, and the first major feature in that regard is with sidebars. So as you can see here, there's far more information and options to interface with here in the sidebar, and I like this a lot. This is how things should be laid out for a tablet interface. So this applies to photos, music, shortcuts, voice memos, calendar notes, files, mail, and contacts. You're also able to edit sidebars in iPadOS 14. So right here, if I click edit, I can remove certain options, hit done, and then they should be gone. If we go into the Files application, I hit this right here, edit sidebar, and I can remove certain things, or just switch certain things around. Didn't mean to draw there. We've also got pull-down menus here. So we click here in the Files app, we can click this little button and we can scan documents, connect to a server, or edit the sidebar. In iOS 14, popover menus will automatically dismiss when interacting with other parts of an app. So if I click on this add button and then hit light off, it automatically goes away. Or if I hit this office, this automatically goes away. Another cool feature is an update they made to calendar and contacts. So whenever you want to change a date, this is the new view you're going to get. Instead of getting that standard list view, you've now got a calendar view. So you can just tap on whatever date you want. We want to create a new event here. We're going to click September 30th because a lot of people are saying that's the rumored iPhone 12 event. So we're going to set our dates for September 30th. That was a joke, by the way. I don't think the announcement is on the 30th, but that's an entirely different video. iPadOS brings an updated search menu here on the home screen, and it's been heavily tweaked to make it more functional and out of the way at the same time. And what do I mean when I say out of the way? Well, you can clearly see that we've got a much more compact UI here compared to previous versions of iPadOS. I think this is very much fitting for an iPad interface and a good move by Apple overall. A big feature here with search is top hit results, which is supposed to give you the most relevant results based on what you search, whether that be an app or a contact or a movie, a film, a song you want to listen to. So if I were to type in Ant-Man 3 and hit go, that's our quick search feature here. We can take a look at the synopsis of the movie. Cool stuff. Or if I want to type a name, Anton, you see the name pops up, we can contact, and I can hit that button right there to send him a quick message. Or if I want to look up somewhere to get some food, it's going to give me the Burger King app or some sort of app based on whatever I type in to download. If I perhaps want to search for something just on the internet or within Safari, I can look up something like how to change a tire, and it'll give me an assortment of Siri suggested websites. I can click on one here, and then it'll take me straight to Safari. Overall, we have very dynamic search result options here. So at the top, we've got Safari. In the middle here, we've got Maps if I want to get some Thai food nearby. And then we can search within apps, within the Maps app, or within the App Store to perhaps find an app for a Thai food restaurant or some sorts. I, of course, also have the ability to search within other applications as well. So here in the Files app, I can search Mac and give you your results based on the search. iPadOS 14 is introducing a compact UI for incoming calls and FaceTimes. So as you can see here, call notifications no longer take up the entire freaking screen, which is definitely nice to see. I'm glad this was implemented. Apple's also made a developer API available, which is going to allow third-party developers to implement the compact UI phone call in third-party applications like Skype, and I'm pretty sure this works on Google Hangouts as well already. In addition to the phone call menu getting a new compact UI, Siri has also gotten a compact UI, so let's take a look at that. Hey Siri, show me the weather for the week.
Should be mostly sunny between today and Sunday. Daytime temperatures will start around 72 degrees and eventually drop to around 61 by Friday, before heading back up to around 66, with overnight lows between 48 and 63.
So as you can see here, it gave me the weather and a nice compact UI here. Let's try something else. Hey Siri, what's the best way for me to cook pasta?
Okay, I found this on the web for what's the best way for me to cook pasta. Check it out.
Hey Siri, Do I have any events in my calendar for tomorrow?
Yes, you have 2 appointments.
Hey Siri, how do I get from Apple, Michigan Avenue to Apple in Lincoln Park?
One possibility is Apple Michigan Avenue on Michigan Ave. Does that one sound good?
So of course Siri didn't give me exactly what I was asking, but as you can see, the UI looks really nice, and it's much more out of the way than in previous versions of iPadOS. iPadOS 14 is also bringing a bunch of new software features for the Apple Pencil and what you can do with it. So we're going to jump into Safari here, and we're going to first test out a new feature which allows you to handwrite in any text field. So we're going to type here, no, need a space, iPhones, no iPhones. Why Apple didn't announce an iPhone 12, because a lot of people were mad there was no iPhone 12 in the September event. We can try this again in this Google search bar here, so no iPhones in September. And it works really well most of the time. Another new feature with the pencil is being able to scratch to delete text. So if you see here, I scratch that, class is gone, middle's gone, and that was almost gone. Now it's gone, and it was gone. Having the Apple Pencil with these new features really does eliminate the need for a keyboard, for me personally. iPadOS 14 also lets you circle words to select them with the pencil. So I circle that word, I can copy it, and then paste it. iPadOS 14 also lets you touch and hold in between words to add spaces. So if I touch and hold like that, I can add a space in between. iPadOS 14 also now supports Chinese characters through Scribble. So I wish I was Chinese or knew how to write it, otherwise I would demonstrate, but it definitely supports it. If you've noticed, every time I've written something on the iPad, this little menu down here has popped up. This is called the Scribble shortcut palette, and this is essentially just, a little shortcut menu, and depending on which app you're using, it'll give you certain shortcuts. So for here, if I want to attach an image, I can just hit this right here, and I can attach any images from my camera roll. Or if I hit this right here, this will let me change the font size and the font style, and this is all because I'm in the Apple Mail app. You've also got right here an option to just straight up open the drawing page. So I'm gonna draw a little stick figure here, hit done, insert drawing, and then we can insert my pitiful little drawing into the email. Also cool to note that you can move it around. It doesn't just have to stay at the bottom. You can move it either at the top or the bottom of the screen. iPadOS 14 now supports Smart Selection for handwritten notes, so if I double tap this word right here, it'll be highlighted, and if I triple tap, 1, 2, 3, it'll highlight an entire phrase or an entire sentence, depending on what's being written. And as you can see here, there's an option to actually copy this handwritten note as text. This is a feature you can now do through iPadOS 14. So if I double tap here, I hit paste, and then it'll copy with the exact same formatting, as you can see. So it didn't get my text exactly correct, but close enough. You can also add space or remove space between sentences or paragraphs by grabbing this little triangle right here and moving it. So you can see here, we push it all the way up, and now we have extra space between this written text here and our handwritten note. We've also got data detectors for notes, meaning if you handwrite specific data within the Notes app, let's say this phone number right here, I tap it, and it'll give us the option to call it, FaceTime it, send a Hangouts message, Skype's message. We have this email, my email, and then it gives us the option to send a message to that email. And then we've got an address here at the bottom. You click that, and it opens up Apple Maps. So overall, this is a really handy feature if you're someone who's constantly writing down important information that maybe you need to reference later. This is a really awesome feature for that. Another cool note-taking feature within iPadOS 14 is shape recognition. So what that means is I can draw a shape like this line right here. I select it, and then I can snap to shape, and it turns into a perfect line. It supports a bunch of different shapes and objects, so we can do a circle here. I select it, snap to shape, perfect circle, triangle, snap to shape, As you can see here, it supports a bunch of different shapes and objects, including even thought bubbles, as you can see here. So this is a really cool feature. In both iPad and iOS 14, the Messages app has gotten an update with some pretty noticeable features, the first of which being pinned conversations. So as you can see here, I've got 4 threads at the top, 2 of them being group chats, and yeah, you can pin these at the top of your message to quickly access people you message most frequently. And depending on whether you've got a group photo or not, you're going to usually see within a group chat pin conversation 3 bubbles showing the latest 3 people to be active within that chat. I've only got 2 people in this chat here, so that's why you're only seeing 2 bubbles. And as you can see here, you can add up to 9 different pin conversations. iPadOS or iOS won't let you add any more than that, but I think 9 should be enough for most people. iPadOS 14 also now lets you reply to specific messages within a group conversation. So I can highlight a specific message, hit reply, and then send that message within the thread. As you can see here, we've got the grayed out message and my reply to it. Also within group chats, you can change the name and the group photo, and we've got a bunch of different options as far as how you can do it. So you can set a group photo by simply opening the camera app and taking a picture directly from the device. You can get a picture from your camera roll or your saved photos. You can set an emoji, or you could just set a color with some text. This is something I've personally always wanted to see within iMessage, so I'm glad we finally have it here. iOS 14 has also brought some new additions to the Memoji menu, so if you're super into this, you should be pretty excited because now we've got the man bun. But yeah, iOS 14 is adding 11 new hairstyles for you to choose from, so just in case they didn't have that specific hairstyle that you chose that Apple initially didn't have. Also cool to mention that there are 13 new hairstyles that include fades, so yeah, Apple really wants you to come correct. We've also got 19 new headwear styles, including a cyclist helmet, I believe this is a swim cap, you've got a nurse cap, a bunch of different options here in the headwear. So if you're a professional cyclist, we've got one for you. If you're a professional diver, we've got one for you. Also in the headwear section, all the way at the bottom, there's actually an option to add a mask. So obviously reflecting the times. iPadOS 14 is said to be making the Memojis more responsive and fluid in general in comparison to previous versions of iOS. And when testing it here, I honestly can't tell that big of a difference. You see I'm moving my head around here. I'm gonna wink a little bit. I'd say the winking, the eye movements are probably a bit more accurate and more in time. But overall, I'd say it's pretty much the same. We've also got some new Memoji stickers here. So I believe there are 3 that have been added here, and they're a hug, a fist bump, and then a blushing emoji. So those are nice to see. There have been 6 new age options added to the age menu in the Memoji menu here. So you can now look even younger or even older. Straight grandpa to a straight up baby with a mustache. Safari has gotten a little love in the iPadOS update, and the first major thing I notice here is that you can actually see the favicons within each tab for each web page that I've got open currently. So that's definitely new and definitely very convenient just to get a quick glance of what tabs you have open. You can also see here that I'm on Amazon, the Chinese Amazon website, but if I hit here, this AA button, and hit translate to English, hit enable translation, and it translates the whole page to English very easily. That's a new feature within Safari. So when it recognizes foreign text, you hit that, translate it, and you're good to go. iOS 14 is bringing audio messages through Siri to the table. So if I say, hey Siri, send an audio message to Justin Acabellis.
Okay, recording.
What's up, Justin?
Great. Send it to Justin Acabellis?
Yes. So it's got a pretty nice UI for doing that sort of stuff. That's pretty much it for this one though. Overall, iPadOS 14 is a killer update that brings some really useful features to the table, and not only for the tablet itself, but for the pencil or whatever keyboard you may be using. So if you haven't already, make sure to check your device for that update, as iPadOS 14 just dropped today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future content like this, as we've got a bunch more hardware coverage coming soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks again to Vectinator for sponsoring 9to5Mac on YouTube. Vectinator is an all-in-one illustration, UI design, and publications app that's available for iPhone, iPad, and Mac. Vectinator has the ability to use multiple artboards within a single document. You can auto-trace images and vectorize them in just a few steps, and then you've got very advanced tools to tweak your vectors. You've got support for blend modes, you can do AR previews for photos or illustrations, you've got a built-in joystick with controls for precise values, and a bunch of typography tools. And thanks to a unified codebase, you get all updates on all platforms, iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So click the link in the description to download Vectinator today. And thanks again to Vectinator for sponsoring 9to5Mac on YouTube.